Hey boys and girls, Scotty the Redneck Canadian back again. Welcome to my channel, Scotty's Homestead University, where I try not to swear and offend liberals. I probably shouldn't swear in this one, and there'd be no reason to offend liberals. So I want to show you how to balance your batteries. What happened, not what happened. My final battery came in, so I should have 12.5 kilowatts of backup battery power. And I've got four 24-volt batteries. I got 250 amp hour and now 200 amp hour batteries, and you have to hook those in series, each pair in series. That'll give you essentially, it'll act as a 48-volt battery, and then we have to put those in parallel. But before we do that, we have to balance these batteries, because the battery that I got yesterday is only going to be like maybe half charged, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But first I want to explain to you why we do that, so that you understand that it's important. They say you should do this every couple months. I don't know how they would come out of balance, but I mean, shit does happen, right? So, all right, well, we're going to use our trusty Dumb Fume product manual. I don't know where the Chinese get the names for this stuff, but anyways, this had a pretty, this is, I don't know, kind of a, I could do this diagram a little bit better. So I fixed it over here for our series connection. So we've got 200 amp hour batteries, all right? And notice, so this is our positive here that goes to our charger load, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the positive from the second battery, run it into the negative of that first battery. And then you're gonna use the negative of the second battery, and that's going to go to the negative on the charger and the load. And what that's going to do is give us 48 volts, or well, 51.2 volts. But nominal, it means like the name of it, 48 volts. That's like when you buy like a 20 volt DeWalt, right? It's like 20 volts nominal, but it's really like 18 volts. Because Ryobi and whoever else owns Ryobi actually patented 18 volt. Anyway, that's a totally different thing. I trademarked it anyway. Okay, so this is my You Better battery, okay? And let's say that was, because it should be 100%, okay? But then the Dumb Fume comes in and it's only 30%. Well, what happens is that this is going to be 100% and it's not going to take a charge. Well, the current's got to run through both of these batteries, and this one's not going to take a charge, so it's going to stop it. So this battery is never going to get above 30%, right? So what we have to do is we have to actually hook these up in parallel and charge them to 100%, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So yeah, this is kind of a bad deal, but essentially we're going to go positive to positive, negative to negative, and then our let's see, so that's our positive, that's our negative, and then that's going to go to the charger. So let me show you what we got going on. That way if this one doesn't want to charge, we're in parallel, so this one will take a charge, and then my charge controller is going to tell me, okay, well, we're full, we're in float, and then I can go back and I can reconfigure my battery bank. All right, so I bought like a tablet off of Marketplace for 40 bucks, and that's what I use instead of my iPhone. I would just use my iPhone, but you know, you guys seem to like my videos, so I spent $40 and got a tablet. And it is kind of nice to not have to worry if my phone's charging. I always got this tablet. I can see what's going on. So one real nice thing about the Victron stuff is you have your Bluetooth compatibility. So what I did here, you can see I changed, using this tablet, battery voltage to 70. We got 70 amps charge current. I explained to you why that's not the best to operate day to day, but to do this, that's what we need to do. You can turn the charger on and off, which is cool because I don't have to go out there and unplug everything. Anyways, yeah, so right now we got 222 watts coming in. So we're charging at 8. It's like 9:30 in the morning. So within an hour, that's going to crank up. It's sunny out today. It's going to crank up to like 70, and these batteries are going to be charged in no time. Okay, so what I got going on, make sure you leave a little bit of slack in your line. So this is the charger coming from the, the wires coming from the charge controller, okay? So you can see here, I've got positive to positive. I've got negative to negative. And then I've got the wire from the charge controller, negative and positive, okay? So these are taking a charge, and then these Ingeosully 150 amp hour batteries, they're actually hooked up in series right now, and they're hooked up to my inverter. Otherwise, I would have no internet. I've been thinking about that. I'm not sure if I want to go straight DC to DC with buck converters, or to get a different smaller inverter just to run that stuff. But I mean, that'll be a different video. I've yet to make that determination. Anyway, so I'm gonna pull the range. Sorry about the mess. I really want to quit tearing my cabin apart. I'm gonna pull that electric range out because I'm losing my connection to the grid totally, because it's going to start being $50 a month just for a connection, and I don't use it. So I'm going to put a propane cooktop in there, and I'm going to make a custom countertop kind of like that and that. So I'm going to go cut the wood on the sawmill for that, and then we'll come back when I get done with that. And I'm pretty confident both of these batteries will be charged, and then we're going to hook everything back up. Actually, I might balance these ones. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to hook these ones up in parallel and charge them fully. And then we're going to hook everything up, because I have an Amazon delivery coming today with some more cables. So, all right, I'll be back. All right, it is now like 10:30. I'm just came in to measure some stuff for my replacement countertop. I mean, I love that, but I'm getting rid of the range, so I'm gonna make the whole thing, and it's cool, and I'm gonna make a video on how I did that. Anyway, we are in absorption mode with the charging, and we're almost down to 0. So I'm gonna come back in a little bit. Should be in 0, should be in float, although I think 6 watts, 7 watts is probably what the battery management system is using. But whatever, we'll come back when it's in float mode, and we'll do this the same thing to the other batteries, and then we're going to hook everything up. 48. All right, we're back. It had clicked on float, so we're going to call this good. So what we're going to do is go to battery, and we're going to shut the charger off. All right, so now we're at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the inverter off, and I'm going to disconnect these wires that are hooking these two 150 amp hour batteries in series, and I'm going to transfer this wiring down to them, and it's hardly going to take anything. I'm not going to let them go to float, because they've been to float probably yesterday. So yeah, we're just going to charge it up, so then we know. So these two are 150 amp hour batteries in series. It's going to give me 150. These are 100 amp hours in series. It's going to give me 100. So then we're going to reset everything with completely full batteries to 250 amp hours. And then this thing's called a shunt. And what that shunt does is it counts the current in and the current out, and it keeps a running ledger of that. And that's what displays down on the battery monitor. So, all right. All right, good little handy tool to have is a double sharpened pencil, okay? These things have capacitors in them, especially the inverters got big capacitors. So it's always good. It's hard to do with one hand, but sorry. We'll make sure that's touching there, and then we're gonna go there. Oh, there was a little spark. Hopefully that caught it, right? Sometimes it can be a big spark, but do that to discharge those capacitors first. All right, we now have our charger hooked back up, negative to negative, positive to positive, 2 batteries in parallel. And in case you don't believe me that you can get a big whap if you do not use your precision discharge instrument, one day, I must have been using it for writing, and I hooked that up there, and I did a little bit of unintended welding. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to go back here. I'm going to turn our battery charger back on. Notice we're still at 24 volts because we're in parallel right now. And there we go. She's picking up. Boom. Remember I said in that video, like, you should go to 48? Look at that. It's pegged out at 2,000 watts. So 70 amps. There we go. That's the max that it's going to do. We're going to leave that for a few minutes because that's all it's going to take to recharge these 2 batteries. And then we're going to hook everything back up. These 2 in series, these 2 in series, and then each pair in parallel. We're going to hook the inverter back up, and we're going to be good. In the meantime, I'm going to make lunch. All right. I knew that wasn't going to take long. I'm not even finished thawing that chicken out. So we're in float. Let's go put this together. Okay, so at this point, I've got the negative of this battery to the positive of that battery, and the negative of this battery to the positive of that battery. So in effect, what we have are 2 48-volt batteries. And this then is the positive of this battery. That's the positive of that battery, and then those are the negatives. So the exact same thing's going on in the wiring inside of these batteries with cells. That's why you can get a 12, 24, 36, 48-volt battery, and they're the same size. The only thing that changes is the amp hours. So by linking these together, this is now still a 100 amp hour battery, but instead of 24 volts, it's 48. And this is still a 150 amp hour battery, but I've doubled the voltage instead of the amperage. So, okay, and since safety's always last around here, I'm finally going to put a fuse in this system. So let me wire this up. All right, so we now have our 2 48-volt batteries connected in parallel. I've got a fuse, 100 amp fuse, going to the inverter. And I just need to hook up the ground going to the inverter and the ground for the charge controller to that ground stud on the shunt. And I'm sweating up here like a lot, and I got a reminder that yeah, you're not likely to get a jolt from your car. I have got it from the Humvee, but let me tell you something. When you're talking almost 60 volts, because remember these are 20 or 48 volts nominal, you're more talking like 58 volts. I got a pretty good jolt brushing up against that with my sweaty arm while I was holding the ground cable. So just, I mean, it's not going to kill you or nothing, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel very good. All right, let me use my pencil so we don't do any more welding and connect this ground, and we should be good. All right, and just like that, I got yelled at because the battery voltage is too high. So we're going to go back to battery. We're going to go, oh, I should have shut that off. 6943. Shut it off, turn it back on. I think it turned itself back on when I reconnected it. And there we go. And you see, it's all bam, way past 2,000 watts that it was throttling it at. And we're only at 45. So it's going to throttle itself back down because it's going to figure out in a second that the batteries are fully charged. Let's go down and set our, there it is, throttling itself back. Let's go downstairs and set our LNEX battery monitor. Okay, so this is our battery monitor, and we need to reset it. So we're going to hit OK. And battery capacity. Oops. We want to go. No. It's not exactly intuitive. So we want to go 0. And you press down 50 and then up 250. All right. And I think we just hold it for 10 seconds. Right? I gotta do it again. Or is it up? Sorry, I haven't done this in a second. You press up for 10 seconds and it'll reset it. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, this thing's pretty cool. It's only 50 bucks. I don't know why you would spend more on one. So, yeah, so right now it's saying that it's putting 48 volts or 48 amps into it. At 54.9, it's 2,600 watts, and that would probably jive with what the tablet says. So we're gonna turn the inverter on, just like that. And look, we have power. Everything's hooking up. So, all right, I'm gonna go finish my countertop. Till next time, keep your sticks on the ice. And I guess just one last thing on this. So this is saying the battery's getting 45 amps, but the charge controller's putting out almost 50. Okay, and the difference is that all these things are using power right now. The fridge is probably on. That's like, you know, a little bit. So that's the difference between your 2,800 watts and your 2,500 watts. This is strictly what's going in and out, what's going through that shunt, and it's counting in and out, versus this is actually what's going through this charge controller. So, all right.